a fuck what anybody else thinks about it. Let's do this. How's it going, G Freaks, Sci-Fi Fanatics? I would like to welcome you guys to the Sci Fi Sciciety Podcast, Volume 2. And along in this podcast, we have my guests. You guys like to introduce yourselves?
You know me, people. I'm sorry to say it's Jedi Grand Vale, also known as Walter Ross. And we have a special guest with us today. Introduce yourself, Matt.
And you all know me as Gojida851 and Matt Jacobson. And I was asked earlier to be a part of this, and something I've wanted to do for a bit, and here I am. So this is going to be fun, getting some hype going for Godzilla vs. Kong, plus we have other topics we're going to talk about as well. Right. And I still love that background you got there, Walt.
Yeah.
Daniel said that same thing, but I mean, it's really, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's really nothing much. It's just a blanket. It's actually a quilt, but yeah, hey, but thank you though. Appreciate that.
Fuji Sakai gigantic 1954 Godzilla from X Plus. All right, from the original film Goja. Okay, that's some good stuff you got there. I don't sell it too short.
Okay, then appreciate you then.
Yeah, exactly.
See, when I hear this from someone who's as I say, an authority figure on that makes me feel good. So thank you.
Authority figure indeed when it comes to figures. That's for damn sure.
Yes, very much so. His background says it all. See,
yep.
There you go. When you move back, it's like, yes, that's
there
it.
You
illuminates again. See, dude, you just have that glow about you. So that's great. That's great.
Yeah, well, like I said, I would like. Like I said, I'm always. It's always a good thing, especially doing podcasts with people that I keep in contact with on a personal level. Of course, with Jedi Grand Vale and Daikaiju-fanboy, and really like this is just those kind of podcasts and that you want to get to know people, and especially me on a more personal level with the people I keep in contact with, especially on Facebook. And I really don't have any other besides Facebook, that other social media platforms. I have Instagram, but I'm not really, you guys know I'm really not that active on Instagram. But like I said, also what I wanted to let you guys know for my podcast, you guys, they already introduced themselves. So I'm barely like at 105 subscribers, but I really want to try to get more subscribers for Jedi Grand Vale, for Walter, and I really want to try to help Gojira851, Matt Jacobson, get to 1,000 subscribers, because he's been doing it for a while. He's put in the work, as you guys see in his background. I mean, background don't get any better than that, especially with X Plus.
He deserves it.
The creme de la creme of Godzilla figures. And
there's some nice ones too, I have to say. They really are nice.
Exactly.
Really.
And like I said, he was Matt Gojira851 was my very, very first inspiration, and the person who introduced me to being, just a figure collector. And that it's, for some people, a figure collector is like, I mean, it's like a lifestyle, and Matt could tell you that, it's like a lifestyle when you collect figures, just X Plus, and those are X Pluses, it's, that stuff and it's worth every penny of it. But just the fact to collect figures on that kind of level is something that inspired me, and that's why I wanted to bring him onto this podcast. And as far as that goes, when you guys get a chance, make sure to subscribe to Jedi Grand Vale's channel and to Gojira851 channel. Show that support. And these guys are really, really close friends of mine now, and we've been keeping in touch pretty much for the past year already, when, especially with everything going on with, the whole pandemic and us trying to get together more virtually, especially now with a podcast. So now to get to the questions and get this podcast started.
Okay.
Can I go first? Yeah, you know what? You go first, Walt.
Yeah, I just want to get this out because I was actually thinking about this earlier, Matt. And so let me ask you this. You might have been asked this before, but let me just throw it out there again. What was the first thing that inspired, when I say inspired you, what was the first thing that got you in touch with Godzilla? And also, was Godzilla your first kaiju that was introduced into your life?
What inspired me? Well, when I was very little, like in a stroller little, I remember going to a mall with my parents. My first memory, actually, went to a mall with my parents, and I remember, finishing up. I believe it was Boscov's in Pennsylvania. I was born in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I was being loaded into the car, and I'm just sitting there chilling, relaxing. And next thing I know, I remember it was my mom or my dad. They put this VHS tape in my lap. And I remember being, just entranced by it. That's a word. It was in a trance. It was Godzilla 1985.
Okay.
VHS over to it. I just remember staring at it and just being lost in it. I remember getting home, they put it on, my brothers and I sat down, we watched it, and I was just hooked ever since then. Come to find out that my brothers were huge fans of Godzilla, and they had a library of Godzilla films in the basement that they didn't want me seeing at first, but I saw them, and the second film I saw was Son of Godzilla, and then it kind of went on from there. Was it my first kaiju? Yes, it was. Then I was introduced to King Kong. Then other monsters came along. Can't remember all of them. I remember Gorgo. I remember that was one of the first, not first, but the other films I remember seeing. Then, strangely, I saw a color version of the 1933 version of King Kong, which I didn't
really?
Yeah, it was re-released on TNT back in the 80s when I believe King Kong Lives was released.
Right.
And then they released it on VHS, and it just doesn't look right in color. There's something about it. It's a movie made for black and white. Then just other films came along, and but yeah, that's my earliest remembrance of Godzilla.
Cool. Okay. Well, I just want to ask you this now. I mean, since then, I mean, like I say, being a child, because that's kind of like me and Daniel. We was pretty much kids when we was introduced to Godzilla. What, as far as Godzilla, the mainstream and everything, when did you get the feeling of wanting to collect like you do? Like I say, your collection back there is like primo, man. I mean, it's just like, oh my God. I mean, I'm seeing different shades of Godzilla figures back there, and I'm just like, good Lord, So, what made you want to just start collecting these things? I mean, was you like in your teens or like when you still young at that point?
I was still pretty young. I was in elementary school when I started collecting. I didn't really have that many of them. Actually, I remember having just one shelf for the longest time. I had both sizes of the Imperial Godzillas that came out for the 85 film.
Okay.
I remember having a few Trendmasters, and I still have the original release Trendmasters Godzilla, which barely works now, but hey, I couldn't let them go.
Yeah.
Then I remember getting a couple of Bandai. I remember my first Bandai Godzilla was the 8-inch Burning Godzilla, which was very awesome. And it just kind of spiraled from there. And then there was a time where I would, lose figures. There's time I would gain more. I really hit my stride in collecting when I got out of high school, because then I got my first job, and I really put my nose to the grindstone, as they say. And figures were a lot of Bandai figures were really cheap back then. Like, remember when Final Wars came out? All those figures were only like $20 a piece. So I ordered a bunch of them and had them all come in. Then they released a memorial box set, which had one of every Godzilla from the Showa all the way through the Millennium, except for Final Wars, plus other monsters for $300. It was like 50 figures inside.
Oh man!
Yeah, it was wonderful.
300. Good Lord.
Yeah,
okay.
But the amount of figures that was in it, though, because each of those were like $20 a piece as well, and those things added up. And that's where it really picked up. And you kind of see where I am nowadays.
And I would ask how many you have back there, but it seems like that'd be pointless because I'm assuming that's just one shelf, or that's just the only shelf you have right there.
I have 1, 2, 3 of these wire racks. They're 6 feet tall each, and they're almost to capacity on each shelf. I can kind of juggle them around a little bit and fit some more. I have more on the way as well. Plus, there's a couple that just got announced last night because of Summit Kaiju that I want to get as well. So, yeah, big future coming up for collecting. Thing, and there always is with X Plus and SH Monster Arts as well.
Okay. Well, let me ask this one more question and let Daniel kind of like slap it over here.
Good time, brother.
Well, I'm trying to get my question out. try to make sure I don't lose my concentration because I'm old. Since collecting, I know a lot of other collectors, they collect like, that's just their passion. Do you feel like you might lose your passion anytime soon? Which I hope you don't, but if you keep collecting, I mean, will you be like having like a room price to go or 2 more rooms like added on if you're still in that collecting mode?
I don't know if 2 more rooms will be. I'm kind of getting to a point in my life where I need to like kind of refocus a few things, which is going to take up a lot of income coming in the future. So I might have to slow down. I don't see myself ever giving up completely, though. Maybe if I get a little more financially set, then I can get back to where it was. But in the near future, I'm going to be needing to make a few changes, which might slow me down a little bit. So,
but you can rebuild yourself back up, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Cool.
Good. Now those are good questions. Actually, the first question he asked was already one I was going to ask.
Well, my bad. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. That's a good question. That was a good question because, of course, I was going to ask Matt what his first interaction was with Godzilla, and that's fine. And then the first movie was actually, you know what? I'll elaborate on that question, Matt.
Yes.
And since that's a pretty badass movie to start off with, Godzilla 1985. That was already introducing Matt to Godzilla already as a force of nature, already as an alpha being, a being that's beyond powerful, especially compared to us puny humans and all the weaponry we had. And yeah, exactly. And just the special effects for that time, for 1985, were like top notch.
Yeah, that's what I felt too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was also
Patra Satsuma as well.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. See, man, and I was there's another question, Matt. As far as Godzilla 1985, when you saw it, and I'm pretty sure you saw it many times after that, how did that movie take a hold of you as far as becoming a Godzilla fan, and what kind of lasting impact has it had on you?
Okay. As a kid, I remember being at recess and we would play Godzilla, and that's how I would act. That's
okay.
Okay. Yeah, those were good times. But the funny thing is that seeing Godzilla 1985 and then going back to Son of Godzilla. See, when I was a kid, I didn't know about the Showa and the Heisei. I didn't know about all that stuff. So when I watched Godzilla 1985, and it goes back to him being like a loving parent, and then he goes to fighting a robot double of himself. Then he goes back to fighting a 3-headed dragon. So, to be honest, I was really confused as a kid. I didn't know there was a huge continuity with the films. Yeah. And then remind me a little later, I got a funny Godzilla King of the Monsters, the original, the 56 film. I have a funny story about that when we get there.
Okay, cool.
Here's a question, man. Since Daniel brought this up, now you saw Godzilla 1985. I'm assuming I'm definitely assuming you've seen the original cut of that film, right?
Oh yes.
The Japanese cut. Okay. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, does that film seem longer, better, or just kind of the same as the American cut?
See, I love them both. there was a time when I watched the '84 version, The Return of Godzilla, and I'm like, wow, this is so much better. Why'd they cut all that stuff out? I really liked it. Then I finally got Godzilla 1985 on DVD. I finally found a bootleg version of it at a horror movie convention. I remember sitting down and watching it. And I just remember the opening theme to it. And it's the original, it's a theme from the '84 film, but they cut it in a different way that sounded so much more like so much more impact. I was like,
Right.
I love this so much. All of those feelings came flooding back in when I first heard that song, and the way
Yeah.
how. So I love them both. There are a couple of scenes in Godzilla 1984. I wish we were in '85, like the original scene with the sea louse. You know, it's a little longer. I kind of wish that was in it, but then again, the reason why they cut it is like, oh, it looks too goofy. You know, let's not have that thing on screen as long as fast. Well, okay, that's what. But like other scenes, like with the Cybot, you know, there were scenes where you actually see him breathing more. He like takes a big deep breath and then he breathes fire. They cut that scene way down to where he just breathes the fire. So yeah, it's up and down. Plus the whole political way they went with it as well. They kind of, you know, demonized one side a little more in one version. Yeah. The hero, they made it more of a hero in the other version. So, but then, you know, I love them both. They're both excellent films. Mm-hmm. It's just I wish we got the full version in both versions. But you know,
because I always feel, you know, when it comes to films, especially when it's coming from overseas, bringing it over here, it's like they tend to Americanize it for whatever reason. I don't know why, but as you say, they cut a lot of stuff out of it, or they put some stuff in, and I be kind of thinking to myself, okay, I could kind of see why, but I be wondering, you know, is that just to benefit it, making it simpler for the American audience, or is it just something that say, okay, we're going to do this because, you know, we want it to be different than what you're actually seeing from the original cut? So I never understood that, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like I say, when I saw the '84 Godzilla, you know, I was like, this is like, yeah, like you say, it's like, whoa, this is something else, you know. I mean, this is really, because when I saw '85, it's like, I'm enjoying it, but it's like, as I got older, it seems like it's, you know, it's like, it's like, you know, it seemed like it's like really reaching me. But when I saw that original cut, it's like, oh, I see now, you know, this is really more boasting, you know, it's more robust, you know, and I'm like, that's the kind of film I want to see. And like you say, it was dealing with some political stuff and kind of one-sided with some things, but I still enjoyed it. I felt it was a little better. But as you know, I'm like, I would like to have the '85 cut now because I saw that one first when I was in my teens, and I would like to see it again if they ever make it available, because I would really love to see that, you know, how in the very background in the American cut where you see these soldiers and you see, because they advertise the hell out of this, the Dr. Pepper in the background, you know, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is product placement at its worst, you know. I mean, this is how Americans do it, you know. Japanese, they're not exactly into product placement. If they are, you know, you never really notice it. But America, they gotta like slap it in your face. So it just, I would love to see those little quirks in there if I ever get the '85 cut.
Yeah. Well, interesting thing. Apparently, they wanted Raymond Burr to be drinking a Dr. Pepper during the filming of the movie, during his scenes, and he flat refused. Because, you know, I'm pretty much learning from another person that he said that was disrespectful. This isn't a comedy. I'm not doing that. I'm here for a serious part. And they're like, okay, they gave it to the redhead guy. I can't remember his name. The major dude. Yeah, I call him Major Dude. They gave him the Dr. Pepper to let him do it, but yeah, remember, it had nothing to do with, you know, the Dr. Pepper part, which, you know, it was him being respectful, and you know, I always give him props for that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they already put. I mean, I don't know. They didn't even have to ask anybody to drink it. They already were advertising it just with the vending machine that said Dr. Pepper on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where. I mean, and then what you and Walter are speaking of specifically. Now, speaking of, you know, Godzilla 1985 and the differences between the Return of Godzilla 1985, like a lot of people, you know, like Matt, and probably you Walter also. I saw Godzilla 1985 first, just remember that I had rented.
That's 85.
Yeah, I had they had rented Godzilla 1985 for me actually first.
Yeah.
Mm.
They had rented. They had rented for me first when we were living in California at the time, and there was a video store right across the street from where I was living. It was like walking distance, and we went over there, and then we went over there and I saw it like right there. I saw it like right away. You know, when you're already a Godzilla fan, you know, I was about six at this I was already at 6 years old at this time. So at that point, I was already like, yeah, you know what? I already know what Godzilla is, and I saw it, but I had never seen it. I had not seen it yet. The first time I saw Godzilla 1985 was in California, but I'd already seen I already seen Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. I already seen Rodan. I had seen Godzilla versus Mothra, and then I was later introduced to Godzilla 1985, but that was not until we had moved to California, and then I saw it, and then just and you guys have already given good takes and information on the film, especially the differences between Return of Godzilla and Godzilla 1985. And what we all remember, man, especially me as a kid, what I remembered the most about that was Godzilla's scream when he was going into the mouth of the volcano.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it even like, I mean, till this day, it doesn't make, I mean, sometimes it'll make us cringe, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, it makes you feel sad and stuff. But I just remember seeing it for the first time. I was like, wow. I was like, damn, that was a little intense for me when I was a kid, seeing it go in.
Right.
Yeah, when
it was the same for me, because I'm like, when I'm hearing his screeching, and I'm like, wow, I mean, this is kind of really dramatic. That's it. I'm 15, when I'm seeing this, and it's like hitting me in the feels, like, oh God, like, okay, this is a monster of great destruction, but I'm feeling that pain of his. And I guess maybe that's in that cut, that's what they want you to feel. They want you to feel some kind of, sympathy towards him. I mean, he's really, if you think about it, Godzilla is not something of he's a wild animal, but he's an animal who's only just for survival. He's not trying to take over he's not like Thanos. You're not trying to snap everything out of existence, half of the population. He's just trying to be in existence for himself. And if this boy gets in his way, he's going to pretty much fuck him up, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. No, so that's what I mean, that's so far, like, that was the only real interaction I had. And then right away, well, right when I had seen it and we had moved back to Texas from California, I had, in any chance, I would like beg my parents, or I would like bug the hell out of them for them to buy me that film, but it wasn't available. So I mean, back then Walmart and Walmart was, barely, was still barely getting its feel and stuff like that. It was really starting to get into a big corporation. I think I was like six, like I said, 6 or 7. And this was like in 87 or 86. And the only ones that were available that I got were from the Showa, which was Godzilla versus Gigan and Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. And for years, I was like, I couldn't find Godzilla 1985. I can rent it. Anybody can go rent it at a video store, Major Video, Blockbuster, anything like that. But I couldn't like purchase it because I was already getting a pretty decent library when I was growing up, as far as Godzilla goes. And they were like, to be honest, man, like I think in the 85, 86, the Godzilla films, the VHS films were only about $9.99 or $8.99.
It was cheap.
Yeah, it was cheap. And if you had a VCR, and back then the VCRs used to like last like forever, and you would never get tired of it. And of course, we all did our recording. Everybody recorded Godzilla films off of TBS, TNT, the USA channel. And did you actually, that's another question I want to ask you, Matt. Did you ever, I'm pretty sure you have, but do you have an extensive library as far as recorded Godzilla movies?
Recorded, not anymore. I used to have a great number of them. In fact, a lot of them I would actually fit all onto one tape. It's like I remember having Ghidorah, three-headed monster. I remember having Monster Zero, and it's funny, Godzilla, Mothra versus Godzilla. Then on one film, on one tape. I remember having yeah, they're all just mixed together. Plus, whatever was playing on TNT, Monster Vision. I remember the old trailer they would have, Go Go Godzilla from the Boys to
Yeah.
Cult, and the little music video to it. It was awesome. Yeah, they would always play them out of order, and it's funny. A lot of them did not play. I remember seeing them in that trailer. It's like Smog Monster does pollution. It's like, what? And then I remember seeing like other monsters. And then I moved to Florida, and then we went to Red Rabbit. It was a competitor store to Blockbuster. Didn't last for very long, but they had Godzilla vs. Biollante there. They had Godzilla vs. Smog Monster there, and I remember seeing them, and then I remember enjoying those as much. It's like, why have I never seen these before? Then I remember seeing a newspaper clipping saying Godzilla vs. Biollante finally comes to America. I'm like, yay! It was a funny how things go full circle. It was originally an HBO exclusive back in
Biollante.
Godzilla vs. Biollante, and then when you got
really? I didn't know that.
When you got the VHS tape, it had HBO all over the back of it, where it had the credits. It said PG. I think TriStar was Paramount. I forget they did it, and it said big bold letters HBO. So yeah, it's funny how things go full circle. They still have Godzilla films for HBO Max as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's what I wanted to ask. That's cool. I mean, that's cool because, and Walter, did I ever ask you that? No. Did you have a collection, a recorded Godzilla film collection?
Just like Matt, I used to, and just like him, yeah. I used to record it on one tape, but like I say, remember this is a time when, when I had a VCR and I could tape stuff, and it's like I said, I had it for forever. But then I told you I went into that drought where Godzilla was not a part of my life, where I say I couldn't care less about him. I mean, I was actually in that mindset of not liking Godzilla. I just didn't. I think I couldn't care less. So, eventually as time progressed, and the internet was coming more online and everything, and I was doing research about what these films were really talking about, who was behind them and everything. That's when, of course, DVDs were coming into play. And slowly but surely, they started becoming available on DVD, and surprise, surprise, when, like I say, when them films were starting to become available, I started collecting them. And the first one on DVD that I collected was, believe it or not, this month, this 54 version on the classic media. That was the first one. And when I saw it, I was just like, whoa, and it was the Japanese cut. I was just like, I've never seen a Japanese cut. I've always seen the 56 version. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a ride on this and just see what it's like. And I'm telling you now, I was like, it got me hooked because at the time, like I say, I was liking Godzilla. And this is like I say, this is in 2000s. It was everything was regenerated. But I didn't collect the movies yet. That was my first official one that I collected. And once Classic Media was throwing out these films left and right, a little bit more, not all of them, I was like, man, I wish they would they'll put more of the films on, on DVD. But eventually, my prayers were answered. And pretty much now, no, not pretty much, I have all the Godzilla films on DVD. Well, Blu-ray too, but eventually, like I say, I got them all in one set, and I'm talking about the Showa, the Heisei, and the Millennium, and of course I have the the Shin Godzilla, which I have to say totally blew me away. It's kind of a retcon of what 54 Godzilla is, but I have all those films. I have all Godzilla films in my library, and I'm here to tell you, maybe if I hadn't gone through that drought, when I wasn't liking him, maybe I would have, like I said, as I told you, Dan, I maybe not want to be, I wouldn't start collecting like I did, and here I am, with this behind me, and like I say, different, movies I have his, and it's like, and not just to say that, just Godzilla films, but also other Tokusatsu made films, like Matango, Dogora, War of the Gargantuas, all those other ones, and I'm just like, wow, I mean, I never would have thought that would come to play with me. And to think that now that I think about it, I'm just like, what was my mindset where I wasn't liking him? I really don't remember what was the point. And maybe that's a good thing, because I don't think I want to know why I was thinking like that. I mean, it's just weird now that I think about it.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure all three of us have all the films.
Well, true.
Yeah, pretty mean. I mean, like, I kind of got ahead of a little. I kind of got ahead, like, in the early 2000s, from like 2005 to 2009, as far as getting the films, because I actually got. And I mean, the DVDs were coming out like in 2003, 2002, but actually, it was hard for me to find them. And the first one actually I got before I actually got any other DVDs, as far as say the Master Collection and Classic Media, was Rodan.
Ah, yes.
I actually got Rodan. Was probably one of the very first DVDs I ever got.
Okay.
And then from there, like I said, from 2006 to 2000 till about 2009, I ended up going big right off the bat, and I bought the box set of the Godzilla Master Collection.
You talking about right?
And I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna say fuck my bank account. I'm gonna fucking get it. I'm gonna overdraft. I don't give a shit. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna get it, and it was. Luckily, the Master Collection at that time was only $90.
Oh, okay.
And this was like this was 2008, 2007, and it came with all the like, because I have the chrome, well, not the chrome, but I have the gloss colored DVD sets of all of them.
Okay.
It was well, just the ones that were released. It was mostly show up, but it was Gojira, Godzilla, all of them. I'm pretty sure some of you guys have them. They're the Japanese and American dubs. It was Godzilla, Godzilla Raids Again, Godzilla versus Mothra, Ghidorah, Three-Headed Monster, Godzilla versus Monster Zero, and All Monsters Attack.
Yeah, and Terra Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, there you go. And Terra Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, my bad. Terra Mecha Godzilla. Yeah, and I mean, and man, like, now how much does it go for? It goes for like what, almost $400?
Well, the last time it could be, because when I try to reorder, because I had sold one of my movies, this is at a bad time. But anyway, I sold one of them, and when I try to get it back,
how dare you?
The cost, well,
go ahead, I'm just joking, man.
Well, anyway, the cost of it was like it was almost $200.
What?
Just that much? Yeah, the DVD was almost $200 when I tried. It was, in fact, it was Son of Godzilla. Now that I think about it, it was Son of Godzilla, and it was nearly $200. I'm like saying, I ain't paying that much for a DVD, man. Are you crazy? I mean, maybe I would if I was financially sound at that moment, but I was like, no, I don't think so. So. But that's when I think it was the popularity of Godzilla. He was popular, but that's when it was starting to build more steam at that point. And you better be careful not to sell any of your stuff, because the price of them goes up. They really do.
Oh yeah. You were gonna say something, Matt?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
You were gonna say something?
Yeah. There was this place called Movie Stop right next to GameStop, and they would take trade-ins for movies. And I remember when Gojira and Godzilla Raids Again and all those came out, and like the silver box, like, oh boy, they're gonna do all of them like that. I don't need my old versions, and I got rid of all of my old versions. It's like,
oh man,
I bet there's a stung.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, where are they? It's like, oh, we're not doing anymore. Terra Mecha Godzilla's the last one we're doing. I'm like, no. They're like, yeah. So I went to go buy them back. They were all gone. I'm like, so then I went online to buy them back. Son of Godzilla was $50. Geezer Three-Headed Monster was like $60. It's like, you're all insane. You are all insane. I will sit here with no film. I will not pay these outlandish prices. No. Eventually, someone got tired of my versions and brought them back to movie stop. So I was able to, recover, and I recovered a little bit. And then eventually they released the Criterion Collection with all the Showa films, which I still haven't gotten yet. But it's a work in progress.
Well,
so
let me ask you this, man. I mean, since Daniel brought this up, like me and him, we kind of hit a stride where we was kind of in a drought with Godzilla. Did you ever, if ever, had a moment where you wasn't liking Godzilla at all? I mean, was there a span of some time where you didn't feel him at all?
Well, it's not that I didn't feel him. It's just I didn't have any drive for it because there were times like when I was little, and Godzilla 1985 was the most recent film that they had. And then it's like, okay, well, they're not releasing anything new. I watched almost every single old version. They're not giving us anything new. So it kind of went to the wayside, yes. Then in 1996, I moved to Florida, and I went into that Red Rabbit, and I saw Godzilla vs. Biollante. It's like, oh. So I watched that. That reignited me. And then after that, it's like, okay, this can only hold me for so long. Then 1997 came out, and then my friend of mine, who I was in elementary school with, he discovered the internet. He found a way to get bootleg versions of the other Heisei films.
Okay.
Then Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah came, and then Mothra came, and then we went to a comic book store, and this guy at the comic book store had bootlegs of Destroya and Space Godzilla.
Wow,
so,
okay.
And then the guy let us sit in his back room and watch them for free.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I remember watching Godzilla vs. Destroya, and my jaw was on the floor. I just loved everything about it, except for when Godzilla died. But I thought it was beautiful the way how he died as well.
Okay.
And then, come to find out, I watched them out of order, and we went to go watch Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. And then he said, "Well, okay, you watched the first one. Okay, you got $1 for the second one." And I'm like, how about I give you $20 for Godzilla vs. Destroya? He's like, oh, okay. He handed it to me. I give him $20. He let us watch as many movies as we wanted for the rest of the day then. So,
wow.
Yeah, good stuff.
Oh,
that's fun right there.
Yeah,
but then after that, a year later, when Godzilla 98 came out, apparently TriStar was able to work out a deal to where they could release all of the Heisei films on VHS. So at Blockbuster, King Ghidorah, Mothra, Mechagodzilla, Space Godzilla, and Destroya all came on VHS. So I was able to catch up and have the more official cuts of them as well. But then there was another downtime because, the 98 film came out and everybody's like, oh, they're going that direction. It's like, oh, okay. And hey, full transparency, I gave that movie a chance. I gave that movie 8 chances in theaters. Yes. I saw the movie 8 times in theaters. I saw it twice opening day. I saw it multiple times afterwards. And I'm just, this isn't growing on me. I keep sitting to myself, saying to myself, okay, if only this happened differently, it'd be better. Okay, if this happened differently, if this person was cut out, if this whole subplot was gone, it's like, this could have been good. Yeah. And then it's like, and then another lull period. It's a very short period because then Godzilla 2000 came out. I'm like, awesome. I loved it. And we went and saw it. And me and like 6 people were in the theater when we saw it at Hollywood 20 up the street from where I live. And it was awesome. I loved it. And then another lull period. It's like, oh, come on, stop at the lull periods. And then I found out that Megaguirus, GMK, Mechagodzilla, and Tokyo SOS all came out. I bought the Blu-ray. That's why I found out about eBay. I bought the bootleg versions of all those. Still have them. I still have all my bootleg versions of those films. And then I remember hearing the words Final Wars. What is that? I remember, going on the internet myself and reading about it. It's like, oh, this is the final Godzilla film. It's going to have the all-star monster cast. This is going to be epic. This is going to be awesome. I get the bootleg, and I'm like, what the hell am I watching? What is this? Why are these people jumping around? What are mutants?
Like the Matrix.
Why are you matrixing? why are you like X-Men? What is this? And eventually Godzilla showed up and made everything better, but it was still the damage was done. It's like, come on. Eventually those films were then released like in 2006, for American consumption as well. So I was able to enjoy those a little better. And another lull period. It's like, but I still enjoyed the films, and I still had a lot more to work with. Eventually 2014 came out. Actually, no, scratch that, back up. I remember seeing a trailer for this movie called Always 2. I have no idea what it was. It's a Japanese film. And this guy is riding a moped down a street, a destroyed city around him, and they're playing the Godzilla music. I'm like,
okay.
I'm like, what? And then the guy gets off of his moped, and his hair is standing straight up like a Super Saiyan. And then you see a new version of Godzilla. Like, they're making a new Godzilla movie. This is gonna be awesome. Apparently, there's a sequence for the movie Always 2, and it's like, it still looked awesome though. Yeah. So it kept me going. Then 2014 came out, and now we're in a huge Godzilla boom as we speak now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, man. That's yeah. What you're saying is like, so man. So you had a few droughts then, Matt.
Yeah.
You had a few droughts. At least yours wasn't almost pretty much over 10 years like mine was.
Yeah. Mine was like 6. So yeah. I mean, yeah.
And then Matt was saying right now, going back to Godzilla versus Biollante when it came out, that was a movie that got me back, that re-energized me as far as the 90s goes, because I saw that in 93. Mm-hmm. It came out in 89, was it? It came out in 89, 90?
Yeah, it came out in 89.
89. Yeah, and I watched it when I was 13 years old. I went to this place called Castle Video. Mm-hmm. And I was like you and Matt actually, I had already seen every single Godzilla movie I had seen from what I was available to get, because I had a few on VHS already, and I had a boatload of them recorded. So I was like, okay. And then I went to this place called Castle Video, and I saw the VHS cover of the original one, the original cover of the art, and is Biollante with her rose transformation, and Godzilla, and is growing on Godzilla, and I was like, what is this? So I said, you know what? I just first thing came to my mind, Pops, can I get this? Yeah, okay, cool. Let's go. I get it, dude. I saw it in one day.
Okay.
1 day. I saw it like 8 times.
Oh wow! In one day.
A worthy journey.
Yeah, and it was. Since then I was like, okay, I'm a little older now, so I was in middle school, going from 7th to 8th grade. So I was like, okay, let me do some more research. So I started going to more video stores. Before Blockbuster took over, there was Major Video where I lived. There was Major Video, there was Castle Video, there was Amigo Video, and they had a lot of them had Godzilla movies. And I was like, okay, I want to get this one, get that one. And then I saw, after I saw, you know what? I also saw Godzilla, the Terror of Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw that one, and that was the one with Titanosaurus, Mechagodzilla, and Godzilla in the front. I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
I got that one too. And I was like I said, man, my days as far as summer goes or weekends, I was always at the video store renting either sci-fi movies, Godzilla movies, Ninja Turtles, Marvel, whatever Marvel was at that time. What else? Playing video games, everything like that, because video games and movies were they were two sides of the same coin at that time in the 90s. So, and like that's what got me, that's what reunited me as far as being a teenager, going back into Godzilla before you go into high school after 8th grade, and you start getting girlfriends, you start doing your own thing, you start kind of losing that grasp on Godzilla, because you have girlfriends now and you're going places, you're not thinking about Godzilla when you're with a girl. So it's like, so I'm like, I kind of like went overboard with that, man. Like I had girlfriends, like I had like 2 or 3 girlfriends, and Godzilla was just a little like, in my ear when it came to me being with girls, because sometimes when you're with a chick and you tell her, hey, I'm a Godzilla fan, she's like, what's that? Like, you don't need to know. Yeah. but no, and then no, like, and I was gonna say, Matt, now that I'm thinking about it, as far as how do you say it? Video stores go. Matt, you're younger than me, man. I don't think you have, but did you ever play the NES version of Godzilla? Godzilla Monster of Monsters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that game. I know the cheat to the game where you can fight every monster on the first board.
Oh wow.
Type in destroy all monsters. And the first board, every monster is there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And here's a trick to that game a lot of people never really got into. Use Mothra and to warm up the other monsters and knock them down with Godzilla. Like people are like, I can't beat Ghidorah with Godzilla. That's why you use Mothra to soften him up, and then you finish him off with Godzilla.
Yeah.
Now, people able to beat Ghidorah with Godzilla, and props to them. That's the way I would always do it. So yeah.
Yeah. I actually liked using Mothra sometimes. I mean, Mothra was good for certain monsters, and Godzilla can, he can smash certain monsters, and Mothra, you can take your time with it and finish off monsters that were a little less powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would like with Baragon, man. With Baragon, I would just use Mothra because he can hardly touch him, and I would just use Mothra's powder or wings to finish him off quick. And then usually with Godzilla, I mean, I was at that point I used to play the whole game through, man. I was like, I would go to every single planet, go to the thing, go to the next one, and just play the dog shit. I played the dog crap out of that game, man. Like, and I rented it. And when I first found it, I think it was 1991 or 90, it was 1991, 92. And everybody had Nintendo. I don't know, Walter, I don't know if you had Nintendo.
But I was into video games at all, believe it or not.
Okay.
I wasn't a gamer. Sorry.
Okay. No, but with Matt, I mean, I as a Godzilla fan, you're thinking like, man, you want to you want everything Godzilla. So once I was able to find the game, I was like, no freaking way. And I mean, I would rent that game for weeks instead of just 3 days. I'd be like, my dad was, or I would say that my dad would just pay for almost the whole month sometimes.
Oh,
and
wow.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna keep it the whole month. Like, all right, cool. And then you get tired of it after a while. But I mean, I just wanted to ask Matt if he played it. I'm pretty sure he did because he's a gamer. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. And then from there on, is like I just wanted to ask because like when you played that game, man, for the time Nintendo being Nintendo, the graphics were pretty damn decent.
Oh God, the sprite for Godzilla looked amazing. The sprite for some of the other monsters weren't as good, but I remember Godzilla's sprite was great. I remember Ghidorah's sprite was great. Mechagodzilla looked weird. There's something about the way his face was. It's like they scrunched his face into it. It was just weird.
Yeah.
For Baragon, I think I don't know if it looked the best, but whenever he would turn his head and look at the camera, and then kind of cock his head like a dog.
Yeah.
It had charm. It had a lot of charm.
Yeah.
And then Super Godzilla came out for Super NES. Did you play that?
Yeah.
I love that game. I beat that the first day. It took me a while though because I didn't really understand the whole fighting spirit thing. But as soon as I got the hang of it, then I was knocking them down.
Yeah, I mean, no, Biollante. Oh man, I had a hard time getting past Biollante in that fucking game.
Me too.
Biollante was hard.
yeah. Like yeah, it was hard. Well, I mean, like I said, since you're not really into games and you never really play video games. It's like it's like chess, man. It's like you play a board game like chess, but it's in digital and you're playing it on a video system. And like it wasn't complicated. I mean, when I was younger, it was kind of complicated because you're younger, you're playing it, but there were certain things that once you got little ideas and you started like learning as you went, then yeah, it was fun. It's just that like it was a game that was like comic book oriented, so they would go by scenes. They would go by scenes how you would attack. Like you would have to use little sprites first to land the punch, and then you were able to use like moves and stuff like that. It's complicated to talk about, man. It's complicated to talk about.
I'm sorry, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Plus, each monster was designed to be strong against the last monster's attack. Like if you the first level, you fight Ghidorah. You defeat him. Atomic Breath works great. The second level, you fight Mechagodzilla, but when you fire your atomic breath, he puts up a shield, absorbs your attack, and then fires it back at you, and it does double damage. You go to fight Bio, and then rushing and slamming into him is the best way to go, or Super Breath. You fight Biolante. You can't slam into her because she'll just slam right back into you, and then you'll lose health then. So you have to use. It's like each monster was designed, to be stronger against the last monster's abilities, so that you'd have to like change up your game plan. So it's a little attention to detail there.
Well, since y'all were the gamers here, y'all played the games. You mentioned that you'll actually go to different planets on these games. I mean, it wasn't just Earthbound with it. I mean, it was different places.
Yeah. In Monsters, you're actually Earth is being invaded by a Planet X, and then you'd fight some Earth monsters, and then to stop the other monsters, you'd have to go to Venus, you have to go to Mars, you'd have to go to Pluto, you have to go to all these different planets, and each time you go to a different planet, not only did you have to fight the monsters from the previous planet, but they would add one more. It's like the first level, the first island, the first planet you'd fight, it was Mogera and Ghizora. The second one, you had to fight Mogera, Ghizora, and then I think they added there you go. And then each level they would add one more. And then when you eventually get to Planet X, you had to fight all of them. Then you'd have to fight Ghidra at the end as well. So you had to like really, pick your battles and make sure, you're saving your health and stuff like that.
Yeah. Man, Godzilla was the main one that was being fought, or he was just one of the side characters, just one of the monsters that was fighting, in terms of you can fight him with anybody, or you can pick whatever monster you want and fight whoever monster you want to pick. Was that the kind of win?
You get Godzilla and Mothra, and you can move. You can alternate between them because, like Daniel said, it's like a giant chessboard pretty much. You have to move them in a certain way, and then you have to play a level with that monster. You'd have to move another monster a certain way. Pretty much your idea was to beat the enemy monsters and then get to the satellite dish, which would transport you to the next planet. But you couldn't get to the...
Wow, okay.
Yeah, you could actually go around the monsters and go to the satellite dish, but it'll actually tell you didn't defeat so-and-so, go back and defeat them. It's like, well, okay, so you have to double back, defeat them, and then go back forward to... Yeah.
I'm surprised they never turned this into a movie or something like that, because that sounds pretty wicked. Be honest with you.
Yeah, it was well, I mean, they had pretty much all the monsters from the Showa era. They had like Matt said, they had Ghizora from Space Amoeba. They had Mogera from the Mysterians.
Yeah, Mysterians. Yep.
And they had Varan from Varan the Unbelievable.
Yeah, Baragon from Frankenstein versus Baragon.
And then they had
Gigan was a nightmare, by the way. You remember fighting Gigan?
Yeah. But I kind of found out a way to counter his. I found a way to counter his buzzsaw.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. You just keep punching first, and he won't move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a fun game, man. It was a fun game because, well, when you're young, like we're not. We're young, so we're not, we're eating pizza. It's weekend. You just want to have fun, and it was fun, man. It was fun, and blowing hours and hours of time was easy to do it back then when you're young, man. But now it's like, I mean, Matt's more of a gamer than I am. I'm not that much of a gamer anymore.
Right.
But I mean, because like I said, I have like 2 Xbox Ones. I got 2 Xbox 360s. I got 2 Xbox Cores, and they're just sitting there collecting dust. I mean, I just use the Xbox One as my 4K player.
Oh, there you go.
But there's times like I'll get into games, but but I'm not really a gamer. I mean, I'm more, like I said, I'm more physical, and I watch Godzilla movies like usually like every Friday or every Saturday, and but yeah, man, I mean, just like that's why I just wanted to add the video game because Matt's a big time gamer, and like I'm pretty sure he's also played all the other Godzilla games, for GameCube, Destroy All Monsters and Save the Earth, Unleashed.
Yeah, on the Wii I like the Wii version of Unleashed because it had all the monsters, and I found a code where you could actually play as the 54 Godzilla.
Oh wow! Oh yeah. I never. I never got. I mean, I rented it. I rented Godzilla Unleashed for PlayStation 2 at that time, but I didn't have the Wii for that time. But I wanted to buy it, but now the Wii version of Godzilla goes for like $80 or $90.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah,
there's actually this game called Godzilla Daikaiju Battle Royale on the website, and it's a fighting game. It's free and has every monster from the Showa all the way to Shin Godzilla.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so yeah, it's free to play and it's very fun.
I wonder why I never looked into that.
It's relatively low key, but there's lots of gameplay to it. I'll send you some gameplay to it later. It's play as the monsters. It's really fun. Plus, the way how the controls are, you'd think the directional pad would be, to move. Actually, that's how you attack, and you actually have to use your other hand. It's just weird. Trust me, it's a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, well, guys like us, man, we got big old freaking fingers and hands, man. They'll probably tighten up real quick.
Yeah, but, I have to turn my hand to a claw to move him around. Yeah, I'm not a PC. I'm more of a console.
As banged up and as much as I've done boxing, man, my fingers won't last very long.
Yeah. There's a lot of gameplay online though. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'll try it out, but I never. I'm surprised. I probably heard of it, but I never really took initiative to try it out. But I'll try it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what I was gonna say, timekeeper Walter, how much time we got?
Well, we're looking pretty good. Believe it or not, we've actually passed an hour. Believe it or not,
we can keep going.
We
can go more.
Let the good times roll.
Yep.
There you go. Let the good times roll,
volume,
baby.
It's really volume 2. We might as well just go all out. So.
All
right. So I was gonna ask. Now I have a question too. One more. I have another question for Matt. And I was gonna say, Matt. It's a pretty easy one. And I want to ask it now, so that way because I won't forget down the line. What? I know you said you've had figures before. You've had Trendmasters. You had Imperial. I got my Imperial right here.
Yeah.
Figures. I was gonna ask you, what was your very first ever X Plus figure?
The Godzilla 2003 30 centimeter. It's funny. I actually reviewed that for my Facebook channel, Mr. J Productions, and it's very guerrilla, very low key. It was like my first unboxing I had ever done as well, and you could tell it was only 3 minutes long. How long the review was, and I just uploaded that to YouTube because I found a way to screen capture. So I actually recorded it and uploaded it, and that was my first one. I remember watching a review on it, and I've got to have this, and got it off of Amazon, and good stuff. That's my.
How long ago was that when you bought that, Matt?
Oh, 2014, I think it was late 2014, early 2015.
Oh wow, that's not wow, man. That is a while ago.
That's what I was saying. That is a while ago.
But the funny thing is, apparently I'm late to the parties. Apparently the first X Plus figures came out in 2011. So everything before that is in the $800 range. And
shit,
I wish I had that kind of money, but I eventually got them on, and I just jumped in feet first, and
yeah.
In fact, I'll just show you guys because I have them nice and ready.
Oh yeah, that's
beautiful.
Yeah, is that from Megaguirus or?
It's from Tokyo SOS.
Yeah, Tokyo SOS.
Yeah, it's got the scar.
Okay, now I see it. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the first one.
That was your very first one, man. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna show. Hold on.
Yeah, I love that one too.
Right. Yeah,
version 2, Godzilla 2, Godzilla 99 version 2. And you guys are gonna trip out, man. I swear to God. I just want to say it now because Matt's on this podcast, and I've been wanting to tell him forever, and now I get a chance to tell him. I got this beautiful freaking figure, man.
Yeah.
for $135 on Amazon.
Very nice.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
It came in a box, right?
Yeah, it came the way everything comes in an X Plus garage style box. And when and at first when I saw this, I mean, this was like when I first started buying, because like you guys know, if you've seen the latest podcast, Matt, I didn't get into figure collecting till early 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was I kept looking at it, and it was on Amazon, and it was at 175 when I first saw it.
That's how much I paid for mine.
Oh, I told you. Oh, well, that's probably the basic price then.
Yeah, it was. I guess it was a sale they had.
Yeah.
Bravo.
And it went all the way down. I guess they were trying to get rid of it, or nobody wanted to buy it. So I was like, you know what? I looked at it again. I put it in my wish list. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna see if somebody buys it. It went all the way down to 133.
Nice.
And I was already pushing my bank account at that time. I said, "Oh, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it."
Was that off the Japanese Amazon or American?
No. I think it was a Japanese seller.
Okay.
But I don't. But because it took a while. It took like 2 weeks to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was basically it was $135, brand new, came in, smelled like that brand new smell. And dude, even when I first opened, I didn't open the box for like almost a half a day, because I was still like telling myself like, wow, I actually got an X Plus.
Okay.
And I was just lucky. I think it was just luck, but I just say I wanted to let Matt know, because Matt, if it wasn't for you, man, I wouldn't have gotten this right here.
Hey, I told you before, inspiration, man. You're an inspiration.
Oh man, because it was like I said, it was this one. And this one's beautiful because Godzilla 2000 or / Godzilla 99 is probably top 3 Godzilla suit styles.
Yeah.
Designs. My top 3 designs
that you like.
Because like when I saw Godzilla 2000, I was blown away, man.
Yeah.
I was blown away. I mean, I was blown away by the design alone. The movie was to me was good, but I mean, a lot of people didn't like it, but I loved the movie, and the design was just like, man. And I had to buy Godzilla 2000 on cable television, because I didn't have. We had a VCR, but you know, like VCR was already going out of style already. And then we didn't have a DVD player, but we had the cable where you can buy the movies, and Godzilla 2000 was available, and I had just graduated like a few months before that came out. So I was like, yeah, so you know what, I'll watch it. But yeah, man, I had to show Matt, man, because it's like that freaking he has a bunch of them. Me, that's just one, and I'm like that. I'm just happy with one.
Yeah. Well, you know, personally now, I think I told you this thing, but Matt, I personally don't collect figures. That's just me. I really just collect printed memorabilia of anything Godzilla or anything else, you know, kaiju, because I don't know, just whatever the reason is. And like I say, you guys, you know, y'all got great, great collection and everything. And I've seen others, you know, and it makes me wonder, why don't I want to collect it? But I'm not into them for some reason. I like to, I'm more behind the scenes kind of individual. And that's probably why I like to buy books that pretty much deals on that. Because I got a couple of them, I'm still growing them. In fact, let me just get a few. Hold on a second.
Go for it, man. Okay. Show it off. That's what it's for, man. That's how my channel works, man. That's how we roll.
I ain't left. I'm still here.
I know. I see you.
Yeah, but that's a badass freaking blanket, man. Damn, I want one now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I barely got my first Godzilla shirt, like 2 weeks ago.
Still waiting on getting to that, but I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. Yeah, these in fact, these I just got recently.
And those aren't cheap.
Yeah. Like this one right here, I recently ordered. Pretty good. I mean, it's it's just I just love it. You know, I mean, it just shows behind the scenes, but just shows different movies that was in the Showa era. You know, it's different kinds, and then you have this one right here. This one is from. This one is dealing with the studio that does what's the studio name that you probably know, Matt? Does the Gamera?
Daiei.
Yeah, Daiei. This pretty much does with the Daiei Studios and all the Sasatsu special effects and everything. What they do, and like I say, dude, I mean, when you see stuff like this, it's gold to me. And of course, this one here, I like this one here. This is I can't pronounce the gentleman's name because I'm not good with names, but stuff like this, and then this one right here. Oh my God, this is Mr. Haro Nakajima.
There you go.
Book, dude. This. Let me just kind of open it up for you guys. I mean, pretty much anyone else will see it, but you can see it. This kind of stuff right here. That kind of whatever that was. Stuff like this, you know, I mean, dude, it's stuff like this, and let me just give you one more. Stuff like this, you know, I collect, and one more. I'm not trying to hug it up. This right here.
It's all good.
You know, stuff like this. For me, it really shows the behind the scenes of how these films are done, and to see the pictures and really see the craft that was done to make these things come alive. I love that stuff because I'm a person who loves films in general, and I like to see, you know, how they make them and everything. These particular books, I mean, dude, my eyes just like get saucer section kind of size, you know. So that's what I do. You know, that's what I like to collect. And like I told Daniel, you know, I've collected like maybe one or two figures, but that's it, and that's enough for me. I don't need to order anything like that other than that. But no, books is my claim to fame. Books is what I love to collect. And there's still, whenever I see that they got something new on hand, I try to get it. But I kind of noticed lately they haven't been making it as much as they do. It's mostly figures. But for right now, any book that they made that deals with this subject, man, I try to get it as quick as I can because it is glorious to me. It's like gold, like I said before.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the Toho SFX books?
Yes, that's.
You have a few, don't you?
Hold up. Hold up.
Yeah, he has a few of them. He actually has a few of the Toho special effects books. And those Matt are not cheap, man.
No,
those are not cheap.
No, they're not. They're really not.
Not cheap.
This is my last one. This one, and this one. When I first heard about these,
oh my God, look at that one, dude. That's my boy right there,
dude.
man.
I mean, I wish, dude. I'm telling you, I wish there was a store. I wish there was a Godzilla store that was near me. I would love to just, you know, buy that stuff up. But you know, I had to order through eBay and everything. So that's the only way I order them. But dude, I love these things, man. I mean, these things, like I say, like gold to me. You know, I mean, I could buy anything else and be like, yeah, it's okay. Anything dealing with Godzilla and anything with his friends, dude, I'm lighting up. I feel like a 5-year-old again.
Well, the special effects books, you go on Kaiju Live, they sell them there. And
do they?
Yeah, I believe they're $20 a piece. And actually, I was gifted this one by Mr. Leslie Chambers.
Oh wow, okay. So I don't have that one. See.
Yep. Love the 89 book, and just to show everybody, you know, what's in store in these. This is a promotional picture with the 89 Godzilla and a special suit that was sent here to the United States for promotional reasons.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yep.
And see, I don't have all of them, but I'm trying to make up for that. I'm trying to collect all of them. But yeah, dude, I mean, they are awesome.
Well, look on Kaiju Live now, man. I mean, if he says they could go for $20 a piece, I might start buying them from there.
If that's the case, then that's what I need to do. Because I mean, I want to collect all of them. I just have, like I say, probably like half of what they have right now, but I want to try to collect them all. You know. Yeah, dude.
So
That's
since
deep.
you like the creating of the films, there are these versions of Godzilla, the Heisei films that I have, where if you stay tuned after the film is over, they actually have like a half hour of making of the featurette, where they actually show how, like, for Godzilla 1985, they actually show them building the Cybot and actually using it in the film and showing it different scenes. They actually show, the water miniature where they would actually had the Yahamaru before it crashed into the island. It's a lot of really cool stuff. In Godzilla vs. Biollante, I don't know if I'm almost positive you guys have seen this, but have you seen the anime ending they had to that?
Yes, I saw that cut version of it. Yes, yes.
Daniel, have you seen it?
I don't think
You
so.
never seen it, Daniel?
Is it in the movie?
No,
it's a cut idea that they had for the film. Where essentially Godzilla is down, like practically dead. All of a sudden, Biollante becomes an anime spirit, and she actually envelops Godzilla and then takes him away, like off screen.
Okay.
There's a I believe it's on YouTube. I'll try to send you that as well. But
it's a very interesting cut. I mean, because when I saw it, I was just like, wow, that's a really interesting cut that they took out. I mean, I guess if it was CG, may not have been, so I ain't gonna say it was bad because it was actually a decent, piece of animation. But I figured they didn't have the technology as far as digital, and maybe that's what they was trying to go for. But dude, it would have been nice if they could have put that scene in the movie itself. I would love to have seen that, but no, I didn't.
Also, there was supposed to be some stop motion as well. Godzilla was supposed to be fighting a bunch of Biollante's vines, and they used actual claymation to do that scene. But apparently, it didn't match up very well to the scenes that they filmed already, so they cut it. But all those scenes are on YouTube to watch as well.
Okay. Are they? I mean, I didn't know they were. I didn't realize they were.
Yeah, I'll check them out.
Check them
out.
See, it's stuff like that that I really eat up, and that's what I, go for in terms of, when it comes to stuff. And I'm not saying I don't like the films, but I really like to know who made these films the way they look like, because honestly, they did a great, and like you said, Daniel, I mean, they took what little they had and made, history, as I like to say.
Yeah. Every time we keep talking about Godzilla versus Biollante, it takes me back to that ugly ass memory that I had of not buying the DVD Miramax version of Godzilla versus Biollante from Kmart for $5.
Oh man.
I keep like every time we talk about it, I'm like, yeah, I love that movie, man. But I already had it on Blu-ray though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had it on Blu-ray, but I was like, Daniel, he's like, get it. Like, nah, I was like, $5, I don't have to get it. Come on, get it. But like, man, I already got it on Blu-ray. Blu-ray.
Like telling you, get it, go and take it.
Yeah, but I should have just bought it, man. Because it now it's out of print because Miramax doesn't even exist anymore.
No.
Now now they're out of print and Godzilla versus Biollante goes for like almost what, $89?
Yeah, and the Blu-ray is almost $200.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
And I bought the Blu-ray for Godzilla versus Biollante in 2008, and I bought it for $6.99 on Amazon.
Okay.
And I was like, I was lucky. Like I said, all those films, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys did, like from like the early 2000s. I mean, I just jumped on it because I had the money at the time, and I was wanting to get back into Godzilla. Mm-hmm. And like I bought all of them, man. I bought like there was 3 packs: Godzilla versus Hedorah, Godzilla versus Gigan, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Godzilla versus Son of Godzilla. I bought for about almost $5 on Amazon.
See, the first time I bought it, Son of Godzilla, that was about that much till I stupidly had to sell it and try to get it back. And that's when I say it cost nearly $200 when I try to get it back. Fortunately, I caught it at a steal, and I managed to get it for like $40.
Oh man!
Yeah.
So. Well, I mean, at least you got it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at least Matt, at least Matt got his older copies back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Funny thing, when I went to Movie Stop, they had a copy of Godzilla vs. Megalon on DVD for $2.
Wow.
$2?
$2.
Oh man.
And I jumped at the opportunity. I got it. I brought it home. Someone had taken a copy of the VHS Godzilla vs. Megalon that they had watched probably 100 times, and they just did a DVD rip of the VHS copy onto the DVD. So imagine watching Godzilla vs. Megalon with a giant yellow blur over the entire film, and sounding, and everyone's sounding like this. Look at Jaguar, we must fight Megalon. Yes. Now I know why it was $2.99.
Oh man.
And I'm just taking a wild guess. Is it that particular one that has that that kind of those kind of cuts where you see Megalon and Jaguar fighting, and they kind of like do it twice in that moment?
Kind of, yeah. That was, yeah.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I have that nightmare. Actually, hold on, I'll show you guys it. Yeah, I should have noticed when I looked at the box of it that this was homemade. Hang on.
No problem.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have Godzilla vs. Megalon on VHS. Oh
okay.
man.
Oh wow.
And here's the back.
That doesn't look too bad, really.
Yeah, and then when you pop it in and watch it, it hurts.
It really stings.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, you guys have actually like, you know, you guys have actually like had like, oh man.
Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Now, does that one have a good? I mean, does that picture look pretty good for that particular one?
Oh yeah, this is great, and this version has the murder in it.
Yeah.
The vehicular murder. Yeah, with dead bodies. Yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. It has the dead bodies.
Oh, I'm just it's
the boobies in the back on that truck.
Yeah,
pictures in the back.
Then the guy gets knocked out of the car during the chase scene. He rolls down the mountain, and you actually see him die at the bottom of the mountain. And it's like, wow, I don't remember that from the version I saw.
Right.
It's definitely several of them.
Well, I mean, well, now I have what? Yeah, now I have well, the Criterion. Now that I got it, that one has Godzilla vs. Megalon on it. So I got the Blu-ray now, and I bought the DVD though. I bought the DVD a little bit, probably 2013, 2014 for Godzilla versus, but the legit release from Godzilla versus Megalon, and that one was a little for I think I paid like $25 for that one, but it was from Amazon, and it was brand new when I got it, so that one is. But there's a story. There's something else I got to tell you guys about. I bought a bootleg of Godzilla 1985, and it looked great. It looked great. It was the original American version, but I don't know what happened to it.
No,
it disappeared from you?
No. I might have misplaced it in another DVD box, but I checked all my DVD boxes, which is over like at least 300, 400 freaking DVDs. And I looked through every single one of them and did not find it. And I was like, what the hell did I do with it? And could have been I left it in one of my PlayStation, because I sold my PlayStation 2, and I might have left it in there.
Oh damn.
But I don't know, because like I said, I was in a tight spot. I told Walter that I was in a real tight spot from like 2016 to 2018, and I had to sell a lot of my stuff that I had, and I was selling stuff that I had that I needed money. I was hurting for money, and I needed to sell stuff. And I almost sold some of my Godzilla figures because I was that desperate.
Well, hey, desperate times calls for desperate measures. Unfortunately, you did have something to sell, as I like to say. At least, like I say, at least you could get them back, as I like to say. But I wanted to show you this though. This is the actual Japanese, DVD box of Godzilla versus Megalon. When I had went to G-Fest, let me see, what was that? That was 2018. A friend of mine, he was doing a display, doing a panel on the board there, and he happened to have a copy of War of the Gargantuas. And the one thing I can say about the Japanese when it comes to putting stuff on Blu-ray, I have to say they fill it up with a lot of stuff. When he like I say showed pictures on the Blu-ray and everything, I was like, all this is on Blu-ray? I was like, why don't they do it here in America? You know, and this one right here, this is my first Japanese Blu-ray of one of these films, and I'm gonna tell you right now, man, it's got so much jammed into this one Blu-ray. I was just like, I had to get more, and right now I'm I don't have all of the movies right now, but just that one got me started. And like I say, thankfully it was a friend. In fact, I'm gonna say his name, Kevin Horn. If any of you know that particular man's name, he was the one who showed it to me, and I was just like, man, I would love to just like get one of these and just see what they'd be like. And it is, like I say, it's in Japanese, you know. I mean, but I've seen the movie so many times. I mean, I know what they're saying. But the behind the scenes stuff on the Blu-ray, you know, talking about who's this and that and whatever, you know, and behind in the pictures that they show, I'm like, this is what I love to buy films for, you know, when they're on on video, because show that stuff, you know, show that stuff that we be egging, like myself, who be egging to see it, because I mean, yeah, I want to see the movie, but I want to see how you went into development of making this character, or how you did this, like the damn scene from Megalon. Yeah. Dude, to me, that still holds up to me now, even after nearly 50 years, you know. I mean, I first, like I said, I told you, I saw it when I was in the 77, but the scene of Megalon bursting through that dam, I was just like, damn, dude, I mean, that's just incredible. And then when I see the behind the scenes on how they made that shot, I was just like, okay, there's more into it than what I thought it was. And you got to remember, we said they didn't have that much money, especially around that time. This is the 70s. Cuts were being done, I mean, drastically. And what they did, I mean, wow, they pulled it off pretty well. But yeah, dude, I mean, stuff like this is the kind of stuff, I mean, I really get into. I'm just like, I'm glad that I was able to get in, able to buy it, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to show that to you, because that is the kind of thing I say, I wish they would do that here, but I think they kind of lost their luster for putting that kind of stuff in the Blu-ray or just home video in the sense, because there was a time when they used to do it a lot back in the day, but now it's like, well, why should we put that in there? We don't need to do that. But the Japanese, they never lose touch with it. They do it tremendously. You know, I'm just here to tell you, it's fun seeing that stuff. You know.
No, I mean, just like what you guys talk about is like what you have is, as far as books, man. Books are knowledge, man. What you learn out of those special effects booklets and the behind the scenes, man, that's all knowledge that is still about Godzilla, man. And you collect knowledge. Me and Matt collect figures, but we also collect films. You collect films. I collect books. Anything that has to say with either Godzilla or anything science fiction. Like I said, this is the Sci Fi Sciciety Podcast. So anything science fiction about Godzilla, or anything that's added tokusatsu, you know, some older Japanese videos, or Japanese movies. That's knowledge, man. That's what you collect is knowledge. What everybody collects, you know, everybody's entitled to. And shit, man, like you say, you spend about how much on those books? Like the most you spend is like what, $200?
The most expensive one I've ever bought was like, it was nearly $200. Just about
$200.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm not ashamed to have spent that much, because I wanted it and I got it. So yeah.
It's and just like that. I mean, just like you said, I mean, and you know, on eBay, there's sellers all over the world that are gonna they're just gonna bump up prices like to them, you know, to ridiculous prices, man, that people do that are ridiculous people. But like you said, like when Matt mentioned that about that news that site that sells those books for cheaper. What was it called again, Matt?
Daikaiju Live.
Oh, okay.
Kaiju. Okay.
Yeah, and like honestly, I mean, you could try to check those out, man. I might even check it out just to buy some of those books if they're gonna be like $20. Because if honestly, if there was a Godzilla store here in Texas, dude, I'd be a broke motherfucker.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Matt, do you know this for sure? I think they do have, but you're down. It's up north.
Yeah, I'm more west, but I think it's in Houston.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
I think it's in Houston. But I mean, like
I don't think you're gonna drive hundreds of miles just to buy something of Godzilla. I don't think that's no. I'll drive to G Fest eventually one day, but I mean, like, but besides that, like, I mean, like, anything else about what we collect, man, as us three, as what we collect, what we like, what we enjoy, whether it's books, knowledge, figures, movies. Like, I mean, like you said, like all three of us pretty much have all the movies. Yeah.
Like anybody who's a true Godzilla fan will tell you that. I mean, yeah, it took us a while to get them, and some people have paid outrageous prices to get what they want. But at the end of the day, man, as much as somebody pays for it, if they're gonna pay for it, that's how much they love it.
It's true.
I
have to say, I love my collection.
Yeah, I mean that's and the collection you have, like you said, like with Matt's collection, just right there, all that freaking awesomeness right behind him, man.
And I was just saying, it's glowing again. It's lit up right there.
And just what you have behind in your background, that's freaking beautiful. I mean, like anything. Go ahead, Matt.
What you got is beautiful too.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, like, I mean, you're proud of what you have, what you collect, man. What you do with your money, nobody can tell you a fucking goddamn thing. What you do with your money, what you do with anything you got, man, you be proud of it no matter what. And I tell other people,
I swear I dare someone to tell me, okay, why you spend your money on, like, do you pay my bills? Do you do anything? I mean, I like this. I'm working for my dinner here, so let me enjoy this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, all of us, like you said, man, like you think, like some people think just because I'm not saying, I'm just assuming people think that, just because we have a big collection, or Matt's collection, my figure collection, his figure collection, what you collect, it's like, dude, we all pay rent, we all pay our insurance, we all pay for food.
I pay my taxes, I pay for gas, I pay for health insurance, I pay for all that stuff. All that stuff is done. Whatever I have extra, I like to enjoy myself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, it's, like I said, a little fun. Why not splurge a little bit on your labor? I mean, you work for something. I mean, once all the little knickknacks that are important, have a little fun. Well, why not? I mean, that's all about life. That's what life is about. I mean, have some fun knowing that, hey, I am somebody who loves this, and I can say, hey, I can, invest in it and say, that's what I like to get. That's what I'm going to get. I mean, why not? Everyone else does it.
Yeah, like Matt's friend Leslie Chambers. That dude has an insane collection of X Plus, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, cause like I heard about Leslie Chambers from Matt, and I know that you guys are good homies, man. So, hopefully I'll get to meet you guys both personally at G Fest. Yeah, but I mean, like, and you guys already know about Collect All Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, so, and that, like, I mean, I saw like one of the few podcasts, man, and I see the background of all these people, but you're a girl, Christine Chapin included.
Yeah.
Man, like, dude, like, that's like if you don't, that's as close as you're gonna get to people who really love Godzilla and kaijus and collecting and just figure collecting anything Godzilla, like, altogether.
And just a side note, I have met all these individuals, and just the fact that they collect it, and when you meet them, like you say, Matt, they're down to earth, they really do. But to know that they collect all this stuff, they got, I mean, I'm like, dude, what they have, that just shows how much they love this stuff. And I'm just like, hey, I can't fault them for that, because these are grown people, but they're grown people with a heart that loves this stuff. And yeah, they, like I say, it's incredible knowing that they have walls of this stuff in their rooms. And I'm just like, huh, to think that, I could have been done this earlier, but of course, financial reasons, but still knowing that they can let me know that you ain't got to be afraid to collect this stuff. You shouldn't be ashamed to collect this stuff. Nobody should be ashamed to collect this stuff. Why should you?
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Now, all that being said, that doesn't mean that we put this over important things. It's like when other people need something, they come to me like, hey, this needs to be done. Hey, this needs to be done. I always put their needs first. Whatever you see here, this is all afterwards. I know you guys do that as well. You know, everything in moderation. Now, this is an accumulation of years of collecting. But, bills come up, things come up. People need things, and they come, and they're like, hey, this is important. You're right, it is important. And then that's where my funds go to a lot of times as well. So, we all take care of our own, and then we work hard and play hard, I guess is pretty much what I say.
That's what you do.
Exactly, man. Like you said, all of us, man, all of us have priorities, all of us, all three of us have priorities, and we have to do our part, play our part, pay our part, but like you said, the little things, like you said, you accumulate in increments, and you put time in what you guys have put time in. And like, that's already like you said, like even us as adults have to have fun, and we have to live life, and we have to live a little, and enjoy what we do, like collecting, watching movies, doing podcasts. Like who thought that Matt would be close to 1,000 subscribers with doing with making videos on just what he loves, which is doing figure collections, figure reviews. I mean, I wish I can do. I mean, I wish I had like that kind of, not charisma, but I wish I had that how do you say it? Just that
not panache or
or I mean, I have a drive, of course, but I just wish I had more. I had more of a sense of doing like figure reviews and stuff like that, because I haven't done a figure review in forever, and probably and probably the next one I'm gonna do is when I'm gonna get when I get the Bandai Spirits Godzilla versus Kong figure. I think it's the Ichibancho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Ichibancho, and then do the SH Monster Arts Godzilla versus Kong, and the Kong and Godzilla SH Monster Arts, which I ordered both of them.
Yep.
And like, I mean, because that's how I started. I started with like, now as we go back to the figure collecting with me and Matt, like I started with SH Monster Arts, was my very first Godzilla figure outside of Trendmasters and Bandai. Like that was my first big taste of, what, you want something good, you gotta spend the money to get it.
Money for it, right?
You know what I mean? And I said, okay, screw it. And I did it. And I think Matt had told me, like when I first started talking with Matt and on Facebook and with Liam Foley, who was also one of our friends, he says, dude, once you start buying those figures and they're like the way they are, like SH Monster Arts and X Plus, you're never gonna want to stop.
Oh yeah.
And that's like I said, like in Matt's case, he like the stuff that he has, all the stuff that he has back there is freaking phenomenal. It's beautiful. The way he does his reviews is like, you put effort and you put love into what you're doing, what you're making, and the content that you make for people to see. And that's where it's people like Matt, like Walter, like Alyssa Goji Geek, even Fat Samurai, Liam Foley, all the people I've met, Gojira Girl, Christine Apin, Jessica T, all Wesley Miller, all the people that we met, like that, it was because of you guys is the reason why I was able to like get reignited when it comes to Godzilla films and just Godzilla, as a character. You know what I mean?
And just on that note, Matt, yes. I'm pretty sure you have. Have you been to G-Fest? I'm assuming you have, right?
I'll you there.
Now, I guess the question is, have we met? I can't remember if we met or not.
Briefly. It was right after, I think, a Summit Kaiju panel, and you were standing at the front, right by the stage, and I was talking with Leslie. We were like within like 6 feet of each other. I think we shook hands, but then like
Really? I remember. See, yeah.
I remember shaking hands, and as soon as we shook hands, as quickly as we did that, we were both in opposite directions.
Right.
So that was like our initial encounter, and then we became friends afterwards.
See, and this is the thing I just want to stress out real quick. When you do go to G-Fest, Daniel, especially since it's been growing in that number, that's the thing about it. I mean, you make friends there, but sometimes if they're doing some other things, she's like, sometimes you gotta shake their hands quick, say, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you." It's like you gotta go the other way because other things. But just knowing that I met you, that's why I was kind of wondering, did I meet you? Because I feel like we have, but I wasn't for sure, Mm-hmm. And just knowing that, this makes me realize like how big the scope of the G fandom is, because the people who come to G Fest, you just have to come and go when you go down. It's a ball. It's just a ball. Like I say.
And now that we already did our podcast and we've already met on Facebook, and now we talk on personal levels, man. When we go over there, we actually go there, all three of us, dude. We're just gonna be hanging out like all the time and freaking make our own little crowd, man. Have our own little crew, and then I would like to meet all the people that you and Matt especially the people like Leslie Chambers, all the the top-notch collectors, the people who are just about not only the collecting, but about the movies, about the books, about the information, the knowledge. Like that's already in itself is like something that makes me excited. Hopefully when all this shit passes, and I'm pretty sure it will, and we'll get there, and I mean it's gonna be a blast, man. Once I meet you guys at G-Fest, it's gonna be a freaking blast, man.
And I can say for myself, from my experience, being as both me and Matt G-Fest veterans, I can say each time I went, it almost seemed like it got better and better in my mind, and that's just how I felt. And I guess maybe because, I got more loose in terms of not being so shy, because the first time I went, I was super, super shy. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I'm talking to you guys right now, I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's nice to meet you. How you doing? Kind of like that. Dude, I'm not like that anymore. I'm like, when I see people that I know, we make friends, dude, I can run up and hug them, and I'm like, yeah, how you doing? It's like, that shows how much I've opened up, and shows how much I love going to G-Fest even more, because it's like I say, it's an experience. It brings the people together, it brings people who like kaiju, who like these movies, but it brings people together that you can say, hey, they have a fondness of what you like. It's just as much as you do. And it's not just something, it's like, oh, these are people who collect things and everything. No, these are genuine people who are ashamed to love what they love. And we come together as a group, and it really is a big family. That's how I like to describe it. It's a big G-fan family, and it's just like that, and that's why it's made me sad when we didn't go last year, and made me sad we're not going this year either. But simple fact is, knowing that it'd be safe when we do go, that's what makes it all worthwhile.
That's right.
Like I said, and then Matt, any other information or any thoughts you want to put on just the G-Fest, as a G-Fest in general?
Your first time there is going to be a little overwhelming, because the things that you've seen, the things you've been around, I've been around those, and they all felt like almost entry-level stuff. When you go there and you see the collectibles, you see the guests, like Megumi Odaka was there, Petro Satsuma was there, Kira Takarada was there, Linda Miller was there. So many people that were in the industry. And then you see, everyone's, their own ideas, and the artist alley, you see the way how they draw and the way how they see, the Godzilla franchise in their own way. Guys like Matt Frank and Bob Eggleton and Jeff Zornow, see the way how they do their things, see how impressionable they are, and see how personable they are as well. You go to other parts of the Artist Alley, you see different exhibits that they have as well. You see the modeling section, where people actually enter models for contests, for prizes. You see just how great they are. Then you see props from the movies, make it there as well.
Oh,
Then you see
wow.
the costume contest. You see how much fun everyone is having, and then you sit there. I remember they have trivia night as well, kind of like Jeopardy.
I love that. Yeah,
Oh,
I love that trivia
wow.
night.
And I remember sitting in the crowd, and I'm just like, oh yeah, it's that one. Oh yeah, I'm actually answering the questions before the people on the panel were as well. That's fun, but I like seeing other people have fun as well. Plus, I met some people from overseas there as well.
Yeah.
And like Ultra Gamjira, I haven't seen him in a while. He's from I believe it's Ireland. Yeah.
Oh, really? Hello?
You there, Matt?
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No problem. It's all good.
Just so much, fun stuff. And then, just meeting other YouTube personalities, like Mr. Fresh Vinyl, Leslie Chambers, Summit Kaiju. Just see how they are in real life as well, and realize, they're just like me as well. It's kind of overwhelming your first time there. So I usually like to get there a day early, and just kind of scope around, kind of like see where everything is. And then the next few days, it works out a lot better then. Then it's pretty much like what Walter said, you come home and you're seeing family pretty much. But makes you feel like I have this fun story from Chief. I think it was my second year there. I was standing in line waiting to meet someone, and two people walked by. They're dressed up as the Gargantuas.
Oh,
I'm like, hey, Gargantuas, want a picture? And they're coming towards me, and I'm taking pictures. I actually start doing the bit from Ghostbusters 2 when Venkman was taking pictures of Vigo, and he's like, all right, destroy me! Yeah, you're monsters!
Right.
I actually started laying down as they were like looming over me as well. You gotta have, you gotta open up more and just embrace it all.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. It's gonna be great.
Man, I have to ask you this. As you said, like telling Dane, it was overwhelming. I don't know about you. Were you just feeling kind of you got so much of this incredible feeling? Were you feeling kind of like the what you call a post G-Fest feeling, like when you're going home and feel like you're feeling like, I'm missing my family. I'm missing, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I have every time in the 4 times I've gone to G-Fest, I have literally cried every time I left. I know that's got to feel like grown man crying. Yes, I have. I mean, as you say, man, it was so overwhelming. It's like I said before, you have to go to it when you go to it. I mean, it's just that much energy that just, you're just you suck it up like a sponge, basically. And it's so many things, and it's just like, I keep thinking to myself, when I first went to my first one, it felt like a dream. It literally felt like a dream, because I felt like, was this real? Did I meet these people? Did I go to these? And it's just like that, I mean, like I said, it's probably a different experience for anyone else. I don't know. It might be different for you. You might get a different take on it. But for me, it was just that. It was just that overwhelming that I got really emotional when we left, because when I was hugging different people, we come close, we come bond. One dude, I told, his name is Gary Johnson. Mm-hmm. He said, let's do this hug real quick and leave, right then, because we both got kind of misty right then and there. And it's like, yeah, let's hug and let's go. Let's be done, because it's like, we don't want to do this, and we're going to start, we 2 grown men about to cry. It's like, no, let's not do this, but that's how much energy G-Fest brings, and like I say, anybody and anybody, can feel that. I mean, and it's like I say, it could be anybody who their own take on it, but for me, it's always that overwhelming, as Matt says, overwhelming experience, because there's so many things going on. There's so many great people to meet. There's so many people coming from overseas, coming to this, and it's like I say, it's just an incredible ride. That's all I can tell you, as I describe it.
I was feeling that way usually the 3rd day. I usually feel like, I can't believe this is over so quickly. Yeah. I feel like I just got off the plane, and I'd give anything for this to go all week. Why is it only 3 days? Just yeah, I have felt that. But my brother would usually come with me whenever I go. So I had a piece of family, come with me. So, and then we would, take the ride home, and then be able to see everyone. And sometimes on the way back, I would ride in the shuttle with other, G YouTubers. Like I think one year I actually rode back to the airport with Rich Iso, sitting 2 seats away from me.
Really?
And we shook hands before he left. And he went on his plane. I went on mine. I remember seeing Robert Scott Field, M11. I saw him standing in line, getting ready to board his plane. And I remember saying, I'm like, thank you so much, man. Thanks for the memories. You're an awesome man. He's like, well, thank you very much as well. It's just.
And yeah. I want to do this right quick. Let me tell this little tale. You brought up Matt Robert Scott Field. Let me tell you this little tale real quick. I knew who Robert Scott was, but I hadn't seen him. You see people age through the years, see them all the time. You see how they look as they get older. I hadn't seen him in anything. And the first time I met him, I didn't think one more of him just because like I say, it was in my apartment floor, and I kind of ran into him, and he looked, pretty, outgoing, pretty much ambitious, very energetic. And I was kind of like, who is this guy? He just looks familiar, but I didn't know who he was. I said, well, he's just another G fan, he's coming to G Fest. And he told me, he's like, man, I would like to talk to you, but I have to go. And I was like, okay, cool. I understand, because you probably have to do some panels or whatever, you got to do some attendees or whatever. And I didn't know who it was at the time. Come the second day of G Fest, and it was right before the panel that he was going to give. And I was having to look at the title talking about Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. And then it kind of, the light bulb went off in my head. It's like, wait a minute, that's M11. Yep. Holy shit, that was, what the, you didn't tell I was like, I didn't realize I was standing next to him, man. I was just like, oh my God, this is, I'm like, I was standing next to one of these guys, these people who starred in these films. I'm like, but he was just so, just like every Tom, Dick, and Harry. He just like, he was just like, I'm just like, hey, how you doing? It's just like very friendly, very outgoing. But I'm like, why didn't I catch that at the first time? And like I say, I hadn't seen him in anything prior to, Godzilla versus Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. And it's just like, wow, it's like, okay, I'm standing next to, in my mind, standing next to greatness. And I was like, why didn't I notice this dude before I first met him, when I met him the first time? It's like, it's crazy, but that was my first on-off knowing that, okay, that's how, because that's exactly how those guests be. They don't have these big egos. They don't have these, so big heads. They come there to be appreciated, and they see how many fans really appreciate them, and they really outgoing. They're not, they're not like these celebrities, here in the States. They're you have some of them who be like that, but these people, they were so, friendly, so, they'll shake your hand, they'll take their picture, selfie with you. They're just so, and they're just so, warm feeling, and I think that's why it didn't feel so much like, oh God, this is, like you say, Matt, like Mr. Takarada, when I first met him, he was just such a, and it was just so exciting. And Linda Miller too. I just like, oh my God, and I was really nervous, but it was so enriching knowing that here's people I'm meeting for the first time in movies that I grew up with, and it's that kind of shit. But that's something I want to talk about, Mr. Scott, because I was like, I just didn't imagine that. I didn't recognize him at first, but before he gave his panel, I was like, oh my God, now I know who this is, So, but yeah, I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, that's like, just see what you guys talking about make me want to freaking go, man. Like I'm already waiting.
You'll get there.
Just to go, like,
there and we'll all hang out and do our thing.
Yeah, man. Like I'll tell like when it comes to like doing these podcasts, and like I said before, like hearing other people's stories, like I said, like this podcast, the Sci Fi Society Podcast, is about real stories, real life, real people.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys just telling me, I'm hearing your stories from you guys that are veterans from G Fest, and just how fun, how badass it would be, man. That me just listening, like I'm the one listening, to you guys, to your guys' stories, and I'm the one thinking, like, man, like I just can't wait. Like I can't wait till I get that chance to go there, and then we have our time to hang out, have a few drinks, eat, talk about Godzilla, go to the panels, go to the art, go to the art galleries, go to the dealers, the dealers rooms and stuff like that. Like I haven't even been there, and I already know about that stuff. So I'm already like thinking to myself, like, yeah, like that's already what I want to. That's what that has me in that anticipation. Not just with Godzilla versus Kong either,
Right.
and then with which was Godzilla King of the Monsters. And I don't care what people said about that film. Yeah, they could have done some things differently, but I still love that fucking movie. The soundtrack was awesome. I mean, the soundtrack is like it's got to be the best. Like what we said earlier, Matt and Walter, about I don't think no other soundtrack in the MonsterVerse is gonna outbeat Godzilla King of the Monsters soundtrack. Bear McCreary, yeah, Bear McCreary, freaking he fucking hit that all the ballpark. With that freaking soundtrack, man. And yeah, I mean, you guys, like I said, like I'm hearing your stories. You guys are real people. You guys, telling me about real life, about how you've experienced G-Fest, how you guys experienced Godzilla growing up, how you guys were influenced by Godzilla, how you were introduced to Godzilla. That to me is like that's what I get out of this, man. And that's what I love about doing this podcast now, because I get to listen to my friends that I've made, you and Walter and Matt, that gets me just even more hyped up and being more in anticipation to wait when I get my chance to go to G Fest and meet you guys there. You know what I mean?
And I'm gonna tell you, like I say, me and Matt, we know what it's like. It's you won't forget it. That's all I can tell you. And going there, you can't help but take plenty of pictures. That's the one thing I can tell you right now. Look. Matt can attest to this. He knows this for a fact. He's probably seen them. I take a ton of pictures, dude. I mean, the first time I went, it was just a few. Afterwards, it's just like picture. I mean, these are memories. These are great memories with just individuals that you're glad that you're friends with. And I just want to let you know this. Man, I'm pretty sure you know this too. You do have a few so-called bad apples, just a few, not a whole lot. You have a few, but they don't strain you from being there. They don't, take you away from the experience. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, it would take a whole train load of something to maybe dislike G-Fest. I mean, the experience I've had, dude, I've had maybe one twist with somebody. But everything else, it was just like, no, man, this is a mind. And that's why I say the experience is what makes it reassuring that you can go and not let yourself get caught up in anything. You realize that you're with people, you love being with them, you love being here, you love the time you're being with them. And man, it's just so super extraordinary. And that's the thing you want to do when you go to G-Fest. You don't want to just go there and just say, I mean, sure enough, you go to there, maybe find something that's rare or whatever, something like that. But it's the people that makes what G-Fest is. And if it wasn't for the people, I mean, really, why go? I mean, true enough, it's for the fans, but the people are ones who make it worthwhile going. And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate all this real talk that you're telling me, man. All this stuff coming from the heart, man. Everything that I'm listening to from you and Matt is real, and I mean, I can't wait, man. And like I said, this when we go to G Fest and we're there, dude, ain't nobody gonna stop my fun, dude. Ain't nobody gonna stop me
Right.
from having fun. You know what I mean? Especially me and Matt, dude. I'll be like, oh hell no! Like we're gonna be like, we're
Right.
gonna be like, no, like dude, you better take that somewhere else, bro. Especially me, because I'll be like, you better get that shit over there, man.
Yeah, get it out of here, man. You don't need that. And Matt, what was your first G Fest? I mean, how many times you gone? I need to ask you that.
I've been 4 times.
4? Oh, so you've been 4 times too. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
My first.
Did you go to the 2016 or before that?
I went to 2016.
Okay. Well, whoa. Okay, we both. Okay, we both. We both went. That was both our first times there because that was my first year, 2016. Okay.
With the way how the lines are there, and the way how we're all kind of crammed in that area, it's kind of hard to notice everybody. If you're looking, but like when you're standing in line to go in the dealer's room, you're kind of laser focused on that. And once you get into the dealer's room, I hate to say it's like a bunch of sardines in a can, pretty much. That's how packed you get in there. Now there are some days you go in and there's like maybe 5 people in there, which those are good days. But especially opening, the opening ceremony on Friday, and everybody goes in for the first time. It's like the running of the bulls, pretty much. That's how packed in then they get.
Yeah.
So,
that's why I'm hoping this new hotel that we'll be in will be a lot more spacious. And I'm not. And look, I'm not downing on Crown at all. The only thing I could say in the last year that I went, I wish that AC was a little bit better, dude. When it's hot, I perspire bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, especially when it rained. It rained a couple of times when we were out there, and then that heat from everyone's body heat plus the water outside, it created almost like a layer of condensation inside the hotel, and it was just felt very sticky some days.
Oh yeah, man. Well, hopefully.
But when you get there, like I say, dude, you're gonna have a great experience.
Because just like you mentioned, dude, I sweat for everything, dude. Like I sweat for everything, and I'll have to take 2 freaking extra, vials of freaking deodorant, dude, because I sweat like freaking crazy, dude.
Right.
I'll be there. I'll soak up a whole shirt if it's heat or anything. Like now it's starting to get hot. I'll freaking perspire everywhere, man. My head, especially that I'm bald. I'll just start dripping, man. And I'll be telling people that's why do you think I wear those skull caps? Because I sweat so much. That's why even in the wintertime, it's funny, man. But I was gonna say we'll go a little bit longer, and I want to ask Matt one last question before we put a stamp on this podcast. Huh?
Put a ball on it. Blow out the birthday cake.
Yeah, first one was a long one. The second one was a long one, dude. But we're still gonna trust me. This is only the beginning of one.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're gonna do plenty more. But like I said, I wanted to ask Matt one last question. I'm pretty sure he's been asked a bunch of times, but I gotta ask him because this is me being able to ask him in person.
Okay.
Gojira51, my brother, my friend. What is your most coveted X Plus figure at the moment?
Oh,
I had to ask you, man. I had to ask you, bro.
Here we go. Come on, Matt. Bring it on.
All the babies. Which one is my most coveted? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll show you.
Here we go.
Boom. The 91 Hokkaido Yuji Sakai.
There we go.
The 91 is my favorite suit of Godzilla. And I say this is my most coveted. I remember getting this right as they announced it. I didn't get it from any sites, unfortunately. I had to get this off of eBay. I paid a little extra for it. I don't care. I love it. This thing is amazing. And people said that I should have got the Rick for the amount of money I paid on it. I didn't want the Rick because it had white dorsal plates. And I don't like the idea of Godzilla white dorsal plates unless it's the 54. But that being said, the 91 Hokkaido, that is my absolute favorite. If I had to pick a runner-up, I'd pick a runner-up. I'm going to pick a runner-up.
That's difficult, ain't it?
One gigantic. I don't want to bring it down though.
It's all good. No, like yeah, I want. That's why I set the moment, because I know like there's so many times that it can be this, it can be that, and I just wanted to ask because I was like I have to ask you, man, because it's like I can't ask you this over a message. I can't ask you this over a text message. It's like if I have you right here right now, I'm gonna ask it.
Like,
I was you know what? It was in my head. I didn't write it down, but I was like, you know what? I gotta ask him. But I was like, I hope he doesn't take it wrong. But I had to ask him. You know, I was like, you know, it's like, yeah, man. And like I said, like me, this is my most coveted one because it's the only X plus I got right now. Yeah, man, that's I mean, that's what I wanted to ask. And like, you know, me and Walter all know, like, you know, is another thing right before we end it too, before we put a stamp on it or a bow on it on this podcast, Walter, what is your most coveted possession of anything Godzilla?
Oh man, that's a good question. Well, I think I showed it to you. Believe it or not, it was that. In fact, Matt, let me get it out. Hold on. This bad boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This one. Now, as I've mentioned to Daniel, this is what actually got me inspired into Godzilla, or just charged me up to Godzilla to begin with. Mm-hmm. It was, in fact, it was the summer of '75. I was a naive little boy, you know, and everything. And my brother had bought this. You know, he bought this, and just to kind of, let me just do this real quick. I mean, it's probably heresy me opening it up, but anyway, I can do it. He had bought this, and I'm gonna tell you, when he bought this, you know, I just scanned through it, and you can just see, you know, different things in there, you know, and whatnot. But these pictures here, these were enough to just, like, I don't know what it is. It made my mind explode, dude. I mean, like, see, stuff like this made my mind explode, and it made me want to know, you know, who is this Godzilla guy? You know, who is this person, you know? And just to give you an idea about how much I liked it, I carried that magazine around for so long that eventually, like any kid that plays with something for whatever time, it disintegrated, it tore up, you know, and eventually it got put in the trash because it got worn out by me, you know. But it stuck in my mind as that being the thing, the catalyst that got me started with Godzilla. And this particular copy of this one, this is not a reprint. This is actually the original print of this magazine from back in the day. And like I say, you can actually tell, dude. I mean, it's like I say, it's really, it's old, man. It feels old. It looks old, you know, and
it looks in good condition though.
It is. I mean, it's a real good condition of it. You know, it's not a lot of like tears or anything like that. I see some writing a little bit, but it's nothing, you know, worry about. But I wanted to get this copy again. I mean, I was wondering, is it a possibility that I can get it? And shockingly enough, when I was ordering stuff on Amazon at the time, this is like, I started ordering stuff off Amazon in 2008. And I said, like, let me look this up and just see if this is in here, you know? I mean, I'm just take a shot, you know? There it was. Only $50. And I'm telling you right now, that's probably the best $50 I've ever spent on anything Godzilla. Yeah, I mean, trust me, buying the other stuff is cool too. But when I bought that, I was like, $50, every penny worth. And that's like I say, that's my grand. I mean, like I say, I have all this other stuff. You know, I have all these other collections of books and everything, and I love them to death. But that one right there is the thing that really is my treasured, you know, piece for me.
That's all I needed to know. That's all I needed to know, man. And like I said, now that we can put a bow on this podcast, the second volume for the Sci-Fi Society. And any last words, you guys? Any last things you guys want to add?
Yeah, remember when I said at the beginning of the podcast we were talking about the original Godzilla King of the Monsters and a scary story I had from it?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Remember how you guys said that Godzilla screeching in 1985, kind of traumatized you a little bit?
Yeah.
Imagine watching a film where Godzilla is doing his thing, and then you go to the bathroom, you come back, and next thing you know, Godzilla's underwater with bubbles all around him, and he turns to a skeleton and then turns to nothing.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my little history with watching Godzilla King of the Monsters 1956 for the first time.
Oh, okay. So it kind of had more of an impact on you than what 85 Godzilla's scream from 85.
Yeah. That went right over my head as soon as I saw him turn to bones. Like, whoa.
But you know what, man? The music too, man. The music when they talked about the prayer for peace.
Yeah, prayer for
peace.
I mean, well, you guys have seen some of my mini videos, man. When I use those Godzilla, when I use the Godzilla or anything that's like from the soundtrack from Godzilla, like when got the ending, the prayer for peace, and then Sacred Springs from Godzilla versus Mothra. So yeah, man, the music too, man. Like it grabs you. As old as it is, it for me it does. Like I can listen to Sacred Springs just to relax. I can listen to Sacred Springs if I'm dealing with something like what happened with my baby boy Marcus. It's music that can set, like, music sets the tone, like I said in the last podcast. But like something about like the soundtracks for Godzilla, man, just it to me it speaks to me in some way. You know what I mean?
I think that it has some kind of, as you say, it does speak to you. It has that feeling to you. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, music to these films, to any of these Godzilla films, I mean, whether it be lighthearted, silly, or very dramatic, they do make their points.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let me ask you this. Since you brought that up, each of you, both of you, which movie, Godzilla-wise, Heisei, Showa, Millennium, which score really hits you? It just hits you. Which score of those films do you that it really hits you the most?
Go ahead, Matt.
King of the Monsters 2019, Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Gigan, Terra Mech Godzilla, and Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Those ones hit me the hardest.
Okay.
I agree with the majority of what Matt has said, but I think the one that hit me the most, or there's two that hit me, there's three of them that hit me the most. It was Godzilla versus Mothra, Godzilla versus Destroyer, and Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019.
Okay.
They just because it kind of like added almost a little bit of everything from those eras into one movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those I mean, a lot of them, like just when a lot of them that Matt said, they do, they do speak with me, and they did affect me. But those were the three. Those were the top three: Godzilla versus Mothra, Godzilla versus Destroyer, and Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, I can give you mine real quick. It's like, of course, it's the original 54 version.
Oh yeah, and 54, yeah, 54.
But the original cut of Return of Godzilla '84, the music in that, believe it or not, Godzilla versus Biollante, that music in there really amused me. And Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, that music in there, I don't know what it is about that music in there. It's hey, it hits me right. It just hits me, man. I don't know what. I mean, it's just something emotional about it for some reason. I don't know why, but those particular scores, I really love.
No, yeah, but no, I should have mentioned Godzilla, but I should have mentioned Gojira 1954, but yeah, that one is also those four. But like a lot of the ones you guys mentioned, just they're all of them are awesome, man. They all speak to people in different ways.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It speaks to different volumes. Exactly.
Yeah, but so G Freaks and Sci-Fi Fanatics, now to finally, put the bow on this podcast.
Wow, we could go further. We could go longer.
I'm not doing another 6 hour, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I said, guys, before we end the podcast, everybody who watches my channel, all the G Freaks, Sci-Fi Fanatics, you guys head on over to Jedi Granville, Walter Lavelle Ross's channel, and also to Matt Jacobson, aka Gojira 851's channel. Hit that subscribe button. Try to help us get Matt to
1,000
to 1,000. Yeah, try to get him to 1,000, and give him some more recognition to my boy Walter Lavelle Ross. And that's pretty much it for this podcast, guys. I really enjoyed this, especially with our special guest of honor, Matt Jacobson, aka Gojira 851.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll do more in the future, and I'm pretty damn sure we'll do more in the future. And just as like I said, me and Walter are still working the kinks out. We're still trying to get adjusted to doing more podcasts and everything like that. But I would like to thank you all for watching, guys. This is Daniel, the Sci-Fi Century, and
peace out, brother.
Walter Lavelle Ross, Jedi Granville, and Matt Jacobson, Gojira 851. Always keeping it raw and real. So we're out, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Night.